Good morning, everyone. It is Monday. Yes, Monday. And entering week 4 of summer camp. That means that we were 1 week away from the halfway point of the performing arts summer camp season, which, time flies when you're having fun, and sometimes time flies when you're standing still. It just depends on the context of everything. But, today is another ride into the valley, and I'm here with the good old 98 4Runner and all that fun stuff. And so we've come to the point where hoodies are no longer relevant. Last few weeks I've been coming in the morning, and it was significantly cooler than it would, stereotypically be around this time of the year. And now, I get to where I am, and it's like 73 degrees at 6:30 in the morning as I'm loading up everything into the 4Runner, and I'm going, oh god, this is going to be one of them hot days, isn't it? So yeah, shout out to that. It's going to be fun. Just a few things going on this week. I'd like to also, if you are watching on Eastern Time, which right now it's about 10 o'clock Eastern Time, I'd like to give a shout out to all of the Women on Wheels members on their way to Johnson City, Tennessee. I hope you guys have a fun time and stay cool. There's a few things that I don't miss about being in that part of the country, and it's probably the high hell humidity. I can't do that. Humidity is like sticking to everything. I don't miss that. I honestly don't. But I do wish that I was over there, because it would have been fun to see you all again. I'm hoping that I can make 2019 wherever it is. I'm hoping that 2019 will be closer to the West Coast, so at least within reason I can make my way over there. I mean, obviously, with the amount of time that I spend in a car, there's no way that I'm ever going to come any close to beating any records in terms of annual mileage, but at least I can ride in December, so I guess it's okay. So yeah, shout out to everyone on their way. I hope you get there safely. I hope you get there feeling great. And the official festivities begin on Tuesday, so all y'all will be piling into Tennessee and good stuff there. So that's great stuff, and like I said, I hope to see you all in 2019. It'll be nice when I can finally say I no longer have to take classes for this master's degree, because I'll be done. So yeah, it's been good stuff. So that's a big to-do. Aside from that, I'd like to thank everybody for their condolences about Patch. If you hadn't seen my oldest rad, Patch, he was almost 3 actually, passed away the morning of the 4th of July. And so that was made for a very difficult time for the first part of the day. And because my class in my first of 2 classes at Cal State Long Beach ended that particular week, I was actually planning on finishing a homework assignment that morning, but I ended up having to bury Patch instead, and that threw kind of everything off kilter, and ended up not going to sleep until like 2:30 on the morning of July 5th because of everything going on. And I still managed to finish my homework and give my presentation and collect my A on the way out, but at the same time, though, it just made for it was a bit tough. And it was one of those kind of things with Patch, is that I knew it was coming. He was an old boy. It was getting to a point where he was getting weaker, and time caught up to him. And I'm just glad that I was able to spend Tuesday night with him, just kind of hanging out on the couch. I was finishing one of my other final assignments, and he's just sitting there. And there were some occasional times that he would get up from where he was sitting in this little blanket that I set up for him, and he would just kind of crawl over and try to climb onto my lap. And it's just like, yeah, it was heartbreaking, to be honest with you. And you do everything possible to give your animals the best life possible, and rats don't last very long. And I know that it seems like I seem to lose a rat like once a month, which yeah. But when you get rats at the same time that are all the same age, that's bound to happen. Patch was just one of the lucky ones. He managed to outlive everyone by over 6-7 months. So, I really am glad for that. And also, in terms of personality, he's definitely up there as one of my favorites to have had in my possession. So, he's he's free now, doesn't have to, he's not suffering anymore, and I'm good with that. And this just kind of, it's just, the circle of life. Speaking of the circle of life, the theme for camp for this particular session, session 2, is The Lion King, so that's going to be fun. So, of course, the first thing that comes to mind is that meme about, everything the light touches is our kingdom, and what's the, it's like, what's that dark patch over there? Oh, that's Van Nuys, you don't go there. I mean, when I was still living in Ohio, I think the joke was Coshocton. I think that was the joke back in Ohio. But here it's like Van Nuys. And I'm like, okay, yeah, no one goes into Van Nuys for fun. Anyway, so this upcoming week, I don't get a break. So Thursday was my last class at Cal State Long Beach for part 1. Part 2 starts tonight. Yeah, I didn't even get a break. I got like Korean spa on Friday, and that's everything else. No hockey last Friday, but there is hockey this week. If you are at Toyota Sports Center, I believe it's either an 8:45 or 9 p.m. game. So if you are looking for a hockey fix, because apparently, we still have just under 90 days before the NHL season starts, and you want to watch some, LOL hockey, come on down Friday night, Toyota Sports Center, between 8:45 and 9 for a puck drop. And, there's beer involved. And if you go there past 9 p.m., the late night menu is super cheap and it's all good. So, with that being said, I'm sitting on the 405 right now. I just passed the airport. I'm kind of crawling toward Manchester, La Cienega. And this is pretty much what day is going to look like. It's going to take me, at this point, at 7:16 in the morning, to travel approximately 18 miles. It's going to take me about an hour. It's about how slow it is, which is typical for a Monday morning. And but it is part of the job, because when you have 9 camps spread across Los Angeles, it makes for a fun time. And fortunately, I don't have to travel to all 9 today, but throughout the week, I will be traveling to all these sites and saying hello and waving flags and all that fun stuff. So yeah, that's where things are, and you're just trying to get through life at this point, It's been a very interesting time, and Eleanor updates. So I've been watching posts. I am still having issues with a rough idle on Eleanor. Everything else has been fixed. Brand new fuel pump, valve adjustment, all that other stuff's working. But for some reason, it is she's unable to maintain an idle, and I've run several tests on her independently. The tests that I knew how to do, like the throttle positioning sensor, make sure that wasn't messing up. I've also tested making sure that I have a Power Commander, an older Power Commander 3 inside that bike, and I'm able to change the fuel mapping on the inside of that Power Commander, because I was having a feeling that maybe the fuel was running too lean, and it was bogging down because of that. That turned out not to be the case. And I'm also finding that venting, I'm not sure what the venting issues are, but because my bike runs off of 2 keys, because I had a ignition switch change, I was able to run the bike with the gas cap open, and tried to do that. And it turns out that the gas cap open, that did not work either. It was still acting exactly the same. So there is something going on. I was thinking vapor lock, but it's going to have to get looked at. There's just something going on with the idle. It's just unable to maintain one after the bike warms up, after the auto choke has completed its warm-up sequence. So there's a little bit of an issue. It's not something that would justify, scrapping the bike, obviously, because really, once the bike is going, it is hauling ass. So it's kind of like, okay, what it can't do is stand still for very long without me having to, manually regulate the RPMs with my throttle. So the hardest part is that when the bike is standing still, I actually have to actively blip the throttle to make sure that the bike doesn't die in the middle of traffic. That's a problem, because, that could be annoying, especially if I'm at slowdowns, or I have to decelerate, or I have to start lane splitting, and I'm worrying about my bike dying while I'm moving. Because in some cases, my bike will run on a much lower RPM, and if anything goes back below 2,000, that's when it starts to bog, and we have a problem like that. So something's being pinched. There's an issue. Don't know what it is, but I'm hoping that on Tuesday, when I drop the bike off, that it'll be fixed through Wednesday, and maybe we can get this back in order, because there's a few rides I still want to do. You know, I may be busy, but, you know, I do attempt to have a life. Aside from that, the other bike is fine. I mean, it doesn't do much. It's much simpler of a bike, and it's also newer. But at the same time, though, and I go back to my old reasoning, is that if this is the worst thing that's happening to my bike, and I'm not having to do an engine overhaul to it, there is no reason for me to change it. Also because it's not really in the budget right now. I kind of need to get, like, you know, a better job. Well, I wouldn't say better job. I said I need to get, like, a higher paying job, and maybe, you know, some level of financial security, and then maybe I can think about, you know, succeeding Eleanor. I really have no intention of replacing, you know, a bike that has lasted, that has outlived a lot of my personal relationships. So there's no intention of getting rid of her, believe me. I mean, you know, and I'm really not even throwing that much money at the problem, but at the same time, it's a lot of time that I'm losing with her. But then again, if you check this out, look, I'm in a car. Like I can be on my motorcycle right now. Not really happening. But yeah, I'm crawling at about, you know, 5 to 7 miles an hour right now, and yeah, it gives me way too much time to think about life. And that's why, you know, the Monday broadcast exists. So, Monday, Wednesday, all that fun stuff. Aside from that, it's just been life. One thing I'm grateful for is that I can wear this shirt again. This is, when I was mentioning the shirt last Friday about the one I'm able to fit into, I'm actually wearing it right now. I had to wear it again. And it's just a good feeling to be able to fit into shirts again. That's all I can really say. Once again, I'm going to give a shout out to the chapters that I'm affiliated with that are heading to Johnson City, Tennessee. I don't think anybody from the Orange County Spirit Riders is heading over there, but I'll wave my flag. Hi. And also shout out to the Buckeye State Lady Riders, who are, it's nice to see that they're all still, you know, together in one way, shape, or form, and some of them heading down to Johnson City, Tennessee, and also to the Sandhills Flying Squirrels of North Carolina, my other affiliate chapter that has somehow adopted me, so I am probably the westmost squirrel in the entire chapter. I'm sorry I can't make any of your meetings, but it's not in my budget to get a ticket to go to North Carolina. However, I will find my way back to that side of the country and say hi, because I know that some of you made your way west to see me. So someday I will find my way back. Aside from that, you know, it's life. If you know, you had any questions about what's going on, and or interested in hearing some of the other stories that probably are too inappropriate to stay here, you know, feel free to private message me and I'll tell you all about it. Other than that, you know, stay safe. Don't do anything crazy. I think at this point it's so slow that I'm going to turn on my Pokemon game because this simulates walking. I've actually managed to hatch quite a few eggs while sitting in traffic. I'm not kidding. It's that slow. I can actually hatch Pokemon eggs on the 405 while just sitting here listening to music and blasting it really loud. My music selections have kind of changed depending on my mood. Although I will say Metallica and Rammstein are great go-tos, especially when you have the windows down and you feel like you want to scream. So, yeah, because I can't punch a bag right now, or anything else for that matter. It might hurt my knuckles. Alright, so, that being said, I'm also throwing in that there is a possibility that I am contemplating heading down to San Diego for SDCC, so I am curious about your input in regards to the traffic conditions down in San Diego during Comic-Con. Main reason why I'm going is actually not for Comic-Con. It's part of my Uber driving. I'm really curious because I've often heard that people from Los Angeles, like Uber drivers in Los Angeles, go down to San Diego during SDCC, and actually it's a pretty lucrative weekend. I'm really curious about that. Speaking of which, this weekend I finally hit the 1,000 lifetime ride mark with Uber, and that was really cool because it took me 2.5 years to finally get to 1,000 rides. Well, I mean, it's not like I was doing this full time, but it's just cool to say, hey, yeah, I've done 1,000. That's a lot. And I think at the rate I'm going, I'm probably going to hit the next 1,000 a lot faster than I did the first the first 1,000, but you know, as I normally go, you know, I just try to make sure that doesn't become the case, but it just depends on where life and career wants to lead me. So yeah, I'm still in Inglewood, by the way. Nothing's changed. Probably if you're watching this in high definition, you know, you can see how slow I actually am going, and it's kind of pitiful. I mean, it's not like I can talk for a whole hour, but you know, chewing up 18 to 20 minutes is my time, just kind of saying hi. It's all good, and yeah. So yeah, that's the other plan too. About 2 weeks, I'm going to assess the whole possibility of heading down to San Diego, and seeing if I can, you know, join the flock, or at least shuttle you guys around. But yes, if anybody is going down there, I am curious about the conditions down there. So, you know, if you have any previous experience in regards to what goes on down at SDCC, I'm definitely open ears to this, because this is definitely an experiment that I am seriously considering at this moment. Aside from that, yes, as I was saying, be kind, rewind, be good. Don't do anything too crazy. Stay cool. I think it's supposed to be like cooling down right now, but as long as it's not 200 degrees by the time I get to Studio City, I think I'll be okay. Anyway, check you all later. I'm still really not moving that much. Yeah. Right. Alright, I'll talk to you later.